TradeDMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 31st of January. Well, and we're going to end the month moving back towards that 4,008 previous algo level. The magenta dip, obviously below yellow and below 33, is very negative. Corresponding with, DOC cyan almost back above red on a daily. So intraday, though, should be pretty clear. I mean, of course, you've got orange rising still. You've got short term buyers in the steel right here, just declining straight off. Now, while that can turn around, looking more like we're going to test that. Now, what happens when we test that? The likelihood at that point would be cyan over green, and I would expect it would break, and then you'd be looking at the 50% as the uh, next target point. So definitely worth paying attention to at this particular stage. From an NQ standpoint, just as weak. The interesting thing is, seeing a white MBI spike back up. That would be one where you've got selling along with the shorts jumping in. We're not getting that at this particular stage, and also pay in mind, same with the S&P. We've got that rising gold into positive shakeout. Could just be a little bit of soft shaking. Before things turn around, it wouldn't take much for that to take place. And you look at the Nasdaq, the cyan moving back above red, not even close yet, not even close. So that just shows you how bullish it's been. Treasury's going sideways at this particular stage. I think just half the people think that rates are going to have to come down. Well, more than half, because you can obviously see where TLT is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make much sense. The Fed doesn't have to move on that issue. They're not being compelled by unemployment, slowing economy, or any of those things. So um, it's interesting. And now, of course, the suggestion is that the market could force them into that. Unlikely. I think the spread disparity that you've got there just makes it a foolish trade at this particular stage. It's just crazy. Oil, nice pullback down to 77. Again, what we look for there will be a question of whether or not you get crude buildups, not necessarily from extra production, but just from poor demand. Poor demand would mean that things are slowing enough significantly. And again, I think it becomes a regional situation. Depends on where you're at this particular stage. I mean, of course, I think that ultimately grows to nationwide, but for now, I think that there's just some problem areas, and they're going to exacerbate themselves. Whether it's in tech on the west, housing, some of those things. But again, with as much liquidity that existed, some of your stronger markets are going to stay that way for some time. From a gold standpoint, a bit of a retrace back here. Also, one of those situations where still has a bit of work to do to get above cyan above red on that. So just a retest back down to the 76%, and could be interesting because you could get a crossover of the white at this particular stage. That would be significant enough for selling down to the 50%. If not, we need to see our pivot of magenta for a turnaround back up. And the euro just softened a fraction, given the fact that it's still pretty much a disaster in the eurozone. Uh, doesn't even bear repeating anymore. It's just basic. And Bitcoin right back to the 22.8 range here, now over 23, but just using that previous algo level as a critical was resistance, now it's support at this particular stage. Just waiting for the next impetus to drive another push up. And from an ETH standpoint, a little bit softer as well at 76%. And kind of interesting when I look at some of the reaction of it. It's just not as well behaved as Bitcoin from its movements, but certainly more significant, I think, in a lot of cases than Bitcoin. So it's just interesting to see it play out. And this is what I continue to get. So I'm stuck with that continued problem. it goes for a period of time, and then as soon as they're up, it cuts out and starts all over. And it's just at my wit's end with that. Regardless, though, I will be sending out indicators and have you all set up for February. As always, trade well. We'll talk to you later.